Remember when the mainstream media freaked out over President Trump's feud with CNN's Jim Acosta, calling it an attack on the free press? Well, here's my question. Where are those same mainstream media pundits now, condemning Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for wanting Congress to, quote, rein in the media, which is an actual attack on the free press? Oh, that's right. They're silent. This is AOC's exact quote when she was asked if there was any discussion in Congress about a federal Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This is what she said, and I quote, "There's absolutely a commission that's being discussed, but it seems to be more investigating in style rather than truth and reconciliation." She then continued, "I do think that several members of Congress, in some of my discussions, have brought up media literacy because that's part of what happened here." AOC then says, and I quote again, "We're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment, so you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation." She says, "It's one thing to have differentiating opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. So that's something that we're looking into." End quote. Listen to what she said. She wants Congress to rein in our media, which means regulating the free press, which is strictly unconstitutional, a violation of our First Amendment right, or, as Jim Acosta might call it, an attack on the free press. That's scary enough in and of itself to think of radical leftists in Congress being 2 inches away from discussing a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or Congress reining in the media. But it's worse. Because their goal is not just control of the media. Their goal is control of you. This is what I mean. This is their excuse for imposing cancel culture. They claim they want to keep you safe. They claim they're making sure you hear the truth. They claim they're protecting you from lies and from fake news. But let me ask you this. How many dictators in history have oppressed their people by admitting that they're power-hungry tyrants? Versus how many dictators in history have oppressed their people for their own good? The Democratic Party is the party of never let a crisis go to waste. First, it was COVID-19, where they lapped up your rights left and right in the name of the common good. Now the Capitol Hill riots happened, and the left immediately jumped to blame all conservatives for violence committed by a few fringe radicals. Fringe radicals who, by the way, were roundly condemned by every conservative I know. In fact, this is your daily reminder that if you are conservative, if you are a Trump supporter, that does not mean you are the same as the violent Capitol rioters. Of course not. The left is trying to conflate the two, to label you as violent fringe because of your mainstream conservative beliefs. Do not let them, because that feeds into the left's cancel culture. When leftists dishonestly lump all conservatives and all Trump supporters together with the fringy QAnon shaman, it makes it easy for the left to cancel all of us. Case in point, CNN's Don Lemon says all 75 million Americans who voted for Trump are on the side of the Klan. Watch.
If you are on that side, you need to think about the side you're on. I am never on the side of the Klan. I am principled people, conservative or liberal, never on the Klan side. Principled people, conservative or liberal, never on the Nazi side. Principled people who are conservative or liberal, never on the side that treats their fellow Americans as less than, that says that your fellow Americans should not exist, that says your fellow Americans should be in a concentration camp, or that sides with slavery, or sides with any sort of bigotry.
Right, and if they say, I don't agree with those people, I just like Trump's policy.
Well, then get out of the crowd with him. Get out of the crowd.
I wasn't in the crowd. I just voted for Trump.
You're in the crowd who voted for Trump. If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported. You voted for the person who Nazis support. You voted for the person who the alt-right supports. That's the crowd that you are in.
Not only is this offensive and false, ironically, I believe white supremacist Richard Spencer disavowed Trump and pledged his support of Biden. Regardless, in the wake of the leftist effort to brand all conservatives as evil, Lowe's Hotel is now canceling a fundraiser that was set to be hosted by Senator Josh Hawley. Curt Schilling, too, announced that AIG had canceled his insurance due to his social media profile. Add these two examples to the growing list from last week. People purged from Twitter, Parler banned from Google Play Store and Apple's App Store, and Amazon booting them off their servers. And we've now come full circle. This is what happens when leftists like AOC or Amazon or Apple try to tell us that they're regulating our speech for our own good to keep us safe from disinformation. The truth is, all that really happens is censorship, a violation of individual liberties, and authoritarian democratic politicians in government controlling our lives. And this isn't hyperbolic. AOC admitted herself that she wants Congress to stifle media she doesn't like.